ongoing, and many Cameroonians have been quick at the different registration centers of the elections Cameroon to register for the upcoming presidential election. However, the main focus for those who are in the northwest and southwest region is how they will participate for the election and how they will also get registered, have access to registration and to vote. Voting is their constitutional right. The right to choose a president is their fundamental right. However, with the ongoing Anglophone crisis that is still active in some localities within the northwest and the southwest region, many of those people in this area are worried if they will have the opportunity to cast their ballot in the upcoming presidential election. There have been series of attacks across the northwest and southwest region. In Bui division, over 3 military officials were actually brutally murdered by alleged armed separatist fighters, and several of them were injured and their weapons collected. And similar situation happened in Muyuka, where a bee was killed. And so there have been several of these incidents in Bamenda, where civilians were caught in a crossfire as separatist fighters opened fire on some civilian population. With all this in mind, as the election approaches, it is moving to a very, very dangerous time for those in the northwest and southwest region, as October has often witnessed an increase in violence across northwest and southwest region, aiming to the fact that it is a period where the separatists consider as one of their most active months that celebrate what they gratify. And that is why those who are within the northwest and southwest region will tell you that between September, October and November, there is a surge in violence across these regions. A typical example was in the just ended 2018 presidential election that witnessed a series of attacks on election officials and also citizens that attempted to vote. The same thing happened during the 2020 parliamentary and municipal election, where several police units could not open in the northwest and southwest region based on the fact that the separatist fighters had to intensify their attack. When we look at all this cacophony, many Cameroonians are asking the question, why can these separatist fighters alongside the government sit on the table and see how they can peacefully resolve the conflict and give them a favorable environment where they can not just only do business, but they can also get to exercise their franchise. And the question is, if the people of the northwest and southwest region in some key divisions don't exercise their right to vote, who stands to gain? We have seen that the ruling party and also opposition parties are trying their best to sensitize voters across these troubled regions to register to vote. However, the key losers of these have been the opposition parties, especially the Social Democratic Front. That has been one of the key losers as far as the reduction of vote is concerned and the surge of violence is concerned within the context of the Anglophone crisis. When we look at the reality on the ground, you will note that when the Anglophone crisis moved to fever peak in 2018, the number of militant or the number of members of parliament that the Social Democratic Front and some opposition parties who have stronghold within the north and southwest region had was much. But when we had the 2018 presidential election, the voting bloc reduced, and when we moved to 2020, the voting bloc actually reduced because of the violence in the northwest and southwest. And that is why you see the Social Democratic Front don't have enough or they have had a reduction in their members of parliament. So as the 2025 presidential election approaches, what should be done to make sure that the people of the northwest and southwest region actually have the ability to go and register and cast their ballot for their choice candidate? This is House of Commons. With me, Tah Mai Javis. Before I introduce my guest with whom we are going to discuss, it is imperative for us to have a minute of silence for our producer, Desmond Akiba, who passed on 2 weeks ago and was buried in his village over the weekend. It has been a sad moment here at My Media Prime Television, especially the program House of Commons, to have had Desmond called by his creator. It is a very difficult moment here on the program, and that's why you see we did not have the program last week, because we had to mourn our producer who passed on in a very difficult and painful way. Let us have a minute of silence before I introduce to you my guest. May the souls of the faithful departed, through the mercy of God, rest in peace, Desmond, and may God grant you eternal rest in his bosom, and that wherever the Lord is, so shall you be there. May your family also seek comfort, and may God protect the newborn baby that you left behind, who is just 2 weeks old as of today, and also grant your woman the grace and the strength to overcome the challenges that before you. I want to also say, wish as a condolence to your mother, who is also greatly affected by your demise, and that God will comfort her and give her the ability to withstand the loss, and also to keep remembering what you have actually left behind. We actually want to wish you farewell. God should continue to guide you, because as it is said, it is well with my soul. When peace like a river attended my way, when sorrows like earth below rose, whatever my thought, my Lord, thou hast taught me to say, it is well, it is well, it is well with my soul. And all those who have departed in this month of June, may you rest in peace and let perpetual light shine upon your life. In the studio, we are joined by a cream of panelists. Brandon, who is a member of the civil society. Welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Javis. Good morning to you. Good morning to my co-panelists. I want to say my sincere condolence to the family of Desmond Akiba, who passed on. Desmond was a friend, Desmond was a colleague, and it is quite shocking and very heart-touching to see in the stage here that Desmond is no longer with us. It is something, a pain that we are going to forever remember, and it is a cry that is forever going to be very deep in our heart. And we want to also pass our sincere condolence to the family of Desmond, and we pray that God is going to console them in this time of grief. And as we also make contribution to nation building, we pray Desmond, wherever he is resting in his spiritual bosom, should also do what he is supposed to do, as we believe as Africans that Cameroon is going to be a peaceful and loving nation, a fight that he has been fighting even when he was still alive. And now that he is called by his creator, we pray and hope that he is going to continue in the bosom of God. As we make our contributions, we call on Cameroonians today Sunday to listen to us as we contribute in nation building. Thank you for having me, Javis.
Thank you very much. Also here in the studio, we are joined by the Central Committee Communicant of the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, CPDM, KDR Robert Malamfi. Thanks for joining us, and happy Sunday.
Thank you very much. Greetings to you and my co-panelists. Special greetings to our 2 weeks old daughter. I just pray God lead her, strengthen her as she grew up, because I experienced that, but I was about 6 years, 7 months when I lost my own father. So I just pray that God may lead this child as she will be growing up, and may the soul of his father, his father, I've known his father. It's about 5 years now since I started coming in My Media Prime that I've known the father, and his cool and calm voice with a lot of respect where he talks to people, not caring whether you are senior or junior to him. And I think one thing I'll always keep about him is the fact that he has a virtue of respect, which is something that I must follow, and as sad as it is, may so rest in perfect peace. Amen. It's a pleasure to be here, Mr. Tah Mai Javis.
Thank you very much, these gentlemen with whom we are going to have a discussion as we await also one other panelist who will soon be here. But before then, I'll begin the program with you, Elangwe. Elangwe, I'll begin the program with you to see what needs to be done as far as the conflict in the northwest and southwest region is concerned, if it is going to affect the voting population of the northwest and southwest region, and who is going to benefit from this, and also rumor of vice presidential position. How will this affect Cameroon's geopolitics if the position of a vice president is created, and how much impact will it bring to our nation? Let me begin with you. As far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned, we have had series of attacks within the week, and how much impact is it going to have in our elections?
Yes, Javis, as far as the Anglophone crisis is concerned, you know, we are not talking about the Anglophone crisis only in the context of election. We are talking about the Anglophone crisis in the context of human and material resources. You know, since the outbreak of the crisis in the late 2016 right up to 2025 today, we have had a series of damage. Most particularly the SDF, the Social Democratic Front, is a party that has been affected very much by the ongoing crisis in the northwest and southwest. And I will tell you without mixing words that there are people who are benefiting from this crisis, and these are people who don't want the crisis to end, minus the fact that the SDF and other stakeholders are putting in their very best to see that the crisis comes to an end. You will also understand that if you pick up guns, or if you take gun and give it to somebody who can never on his or her own work 10,000 francs, and with the use of a gun the person can have 100,000 francs, it is going to be very difficult for you to take back that gun. So guns were given to banger smokers in the bush, and they are using guns to have money. So you don't expect them to lay down their arms so very easily, because that is the means, or that is from where they are making their own ends meet. So it is very easy, or it is very simple to declare war, or it is very simple to start a war, but to end it, it is a problem. And you also want to understand that even if it is decided today now that the Anglophone crisis should end by all stakeholders, maybe the separatist section and the government, they come to a consensus to have the guns back, or to withdraw those boys who are in the bush, it is going to be a very difficult task, because you will not tell them. They are going to ask you what is going to be their gain. If somebody can point you a gun and you give him 200,000, you give him 1 million francs. So what do you expect? Do you expect that person to let the gun and maybe go to DDR, or maybe go to a rehabilitation center that he is going to be fed once a day? It is not done like that. So we are also sending a sympathy. We are also sending a cry out there to all those who are involved in the ongoing crisis, that it is not only about election. It is about the human lives. It is about the material resources. It is about the damages that have been caused in the northwest and southwest region for more than 7 years today. So we are crying to those who are involved, or those who can solve the crisis, or those who have stakes in the crisis, to see what they can do. Minus the fact that this is an election year, we are not sure. We are not in the business of solving the crisis because of election. It is because we don't want more lives to be lost. Now, talking about the position of a vice president, the rumor of a vice president, this is a topic that I am very cool when I want to talk about, because the position of a vice president, it does not really matter to the Anglophone person, you know, because since as we are talking about rumor, the position of a vice president, as rumor has it, it is an influence of the people of the north, because they are hoping that with the position of the vice president, and with maybe a constitutional mandate that the vice president is going to be next to the president, and in an instance where the president is no more, the vice president is going to take over. And rumor also has it that this is one of the reasons that why you see Mr. Chiruma's outing, you see Belebuba's outing, and you see maybe some other people coming to talk. But I also want to take Cameroonian that I want to take a standpoint of educating Cameroonian, because I see that one of the problems that we are having here in Cameroon, it is lack of political education. Because if you have Churuma at this point talking about don't sell your vote to those who have been fooling you all this while, Issa Churuma is just looking for a political leverage. You understand that he is a leader of a political party, the FSNC, and this is an election time, and this is a time to prove your worth, to show that you have a capacity, to show that you have control in a certain given region. So Cameroonians are educated, and Cameroonians understand to a certain extent that all these outings of Minister Churuma, of Belobuba, and whatsoever, it is just a political tension. At and it is not very necessary. So the position of a vice president, it is not very eminent, or it is not very common. It is not very concerning to the Anglophone people, because the Anglophones have a common fight. Anglophones, we have what we have been fighting for, and the third president of Cameroon should be an Anglophone. That is our cry since from the beginning. So when you are talking about the position of vice president as an Anglophone, I don't see it very eminent. And you know, maybe it can be realized, maybe not, because the CPDM has a stronghold in the northern regions, and maybe they will not want to let that stronghold go. You can hear that maybe it is a constitutional reform that the position of the vice president is, and that is not very of that does not concern us. What we are saying is that the Anglophone have been marginalized since from the reunion of Fumban, and what we are saying as Anglophone, or what we are fighting as Anglophone, is that the third president or the next president of this country should be Anglophone, whether there is a vice president, whether there is whosoever, whether there is whatsoever. We are saying as Anglophones that the third president or the next president of this country should be Anglophone, and that is the position of Anglophone, and that is where we stand.
Okay, KTR Robert Malave, you are a communicant of the the CPDM party, and also at the Central Committee. Now you have been observing the trend. Well, let's look at the Anglophone crisis. Today we're looking at the voters registration, 2025 presidential election, voters registration, the Anglophone crisis, and how much impact it may have on the registration process and the election process, because the people of the Northwest and Southwest region are Cameroonians who deserve to exercise their franchise. Now, with this Anglophone crisis, which has actually stayed long, and we have started having some recent attack occurred in Bui, where we lost 3 soldiers and some were injured, and in Muyuka a bill officer was killed, and we have had people being shot at in Bamenda, civilians shot at in Bamenda and Bambili, and we know that as October is approaching, that is a peak period of violence in the Northwest and the Southwest region. Now, my question to you now is, how much impact will this crisis have now on the election, the voters registration process, and what needs to be done to make sure that these persons actually come out and have their exercise their right to register and to be able to cast their ballot?
The first thing we should know is that the rate of registration from 2018 to present 2025 as we speak has increased. It could have been more, because we have people that have not returned back to our regions, that are in Douala, Yaoundé and other regions, and they have registered there. So definitely will have an impact. However, when the crisis was in its peak in 2017 and 2018, when we had the presidential election, it has definitely reduced as compared to now in 2025. That does not mean that those that are still falling because of the crisis is not important, that will bring it to an end, no, but I'm saying that it has definitely reduced. And to go further, what is important is that I heard my co-panelists saying that Banga Sumukas have picked up arms. When I go to any debate now and people are talking about it, I just sit quietly and observe them, because I remember when I started crying in 2019, singing that, oh, what they are doing, we should tell our boys, the boys that are pick up arms, to drop their arms. But all I could get were people insulting me over social media, calling them our boys, good boys, this and that, encouraging them to pick up arms. When they were killing people, were laughing and smiling. But today I'm happy, I'm so very, very happy that many people have seen reason with me. And of course, they have joined me to see that they are Banga Sumukas, they are criminals, they are rapists, they are kidnappers and the rest. If this was the education that we were giving to our brothers in the bushes since 2018, we wouldn't have been where we are today. But many people encouraged them, some even supported financially. But today, where we are today, I just thank the head of state, the father of the republic, that have created a pipeline for them to go through and drop their arms and be protected at the level of the disarmament center. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Minister Felix Mbayu, the diplomatic hand of the head of state, President Paul Biya, that have engaged in diplomacy to ensure that most of those that were in the diaspora promoting the killing of their people, his diplomacy has ensured that many of them has been arrested, over 15 in the United States of America that have gone to prison, and also those in Europe, especially someone like Akiba that is under custody and is being investigated for crime against terrorism. My question I see asks those that struggle to support these people that have picked up arms, that they still say that they should be released. My question is, if in Cameroon they have been arrested and people say that they should not call them terrorists, people say that they should be released, the question I ask is that those that have been arrested in Norway and have been trying for terrorism, will they say that is the state of Cameroon that is judging them for terrorism? Those that are in the USA that have been judged and tried for act of terrorism, will they say that is Cameroon government that have asked the United States of America to judge them as terrorists? To conclude, I'm saying that they are terrorists, and when we say it is because it's a fact. We have judged them, we are judging them for that, and of course our friendly nations are doing the same because they consider their action as terrorists. So let people don't say that we have just given them title because we want to pin them down, but they should know that the international community consider them as terrorists as they engage in their actions of beheading, killing, kidnapping, raping, and all other atrocities. So I will still beg those in the Northwest and Southwest to come out and join our voices for us to condemn them for their evil acts, and ask those that still have moral consciences to drop their arms and be integrated in the disarmament center. To conclude again, we are in an election year where we need to decide our fate, where we need to present our civic right by voting who will lead the destiny of our nation for the next 7 years. And so I call on everybody to go out and register for the electoral college will be called in less than 30 days time. Yeah. Let the people go decide for their destiny. We don't want people that will come and complain or cry after. Those that are over 20 years, go and register and vote and don't complain after, because the only opportunity you have to complain, the only opportunity you have to participate in decision making is by getting your voter's card and voting to participate on who will be your next president.
Now,
talking about talking about the issue of Rumours going on about the position of the next vice president. As of now, before I came to your program, I had a talk with the vice president of the National Assembly, Madam Mary Meboka, and she informed me reliably that as we speak, as of now, there is no bill that has been presented at the assembly as of now, meaning that something may happen tomorrow or not.
Yeah,
but we are saying that
moment,
as of this moment, there is no bill of such. So for now, it remains, of course, a rumor. However, I would like to add on the commentary of my brother here that says that the position of vice president means nothing to the Anglophone person. And that is where I will debunk with him, to be very candid with him. It is not good that we speak on behalf of people where we don't have their mandate. It would be better if he says that some. I'll understand that he has categorized some particular group of people. But to say on behalf of the people that they don't need it, I don't know where he has collected his data or where he has done a survey or a census to come out with this conclusion. Because this ideology that is being pumped into the social media talking about this position is maybe based on those that have the affiliation for federalism, and which he talked about marginalization. Some people believe that if the position of vice president is put in place, we will definitely have an Anglophone there. Why? The issue of a rotation, that if a president is Anglophone and vice versa, those are constitutional decisions that were put in place in 1961 at the Fumban Conference. And if it is not yet in a constitution, or it has not been voted or enacted into law, we cannot come out to say that this is what will happen. But I still say that any position, be it vice president, and it's been given to an Anglophone in democracy and in administration and in politics, we say it is a political game, because we don't take any position as a small position. We take the position first before dreaming for the bigger one. We all know which Anglophone will say he does not want that an Anglophone should be a president. It's our wish, but we are in democracy where people need to go and vote and decide. That is why, answering your question, I decided to tell the Cameroonian people to vote. And when the time will come, they will vote their parliamentarians, and their parliamentarian will definitely vote the law that is needed. That is what I have said with regard to the Anglophone crisis. But talking about the Anglophone problem, Mr. Tah Mai Javis. Yes, okay, thank you.
I don't know if Brandon, you agree with this aspect, because KJ is saying that it is good to just highlight that some Cameroonians may not see the position of a vice president as good for them because of the fact that they have their opinion count, but to globalize it that it means nothing for the Anglophone community, he thinks that it is an exaggeration. But my question is, what would then be the difference between if an Anglophone is given the vice president or the prime minister? Because an Anglophone, as of now, is the prime minister, the position will remain within the Anglophone community. Now, what would that impact make if there is a position of the vice president nationally? Would that change the national political way of doing things as we see? And what now probably, if it is adopted, becomes of the PM?
Okay, Javis, let me give you a little survey that I carried. You know, the Anglophone population is made up of 3 political ideologies. We have the federalists, we have the centralists, and we have the secessionists. Now, these 3 political ideologies, the first political ideology in the Anglophone society are the.
And you also have the confederalists. You have removed the confederalists.
No, I'm talking about the main political ideology. There are others of the extremists and so on. I'm talking about the main political ideology in the Anglophone regions. Now, the first political or the major political ideology in the Anglophone region is federalist. And now you have people like the centralists who are beneficiary of a system. You understand? That is why they are following that system. You have, I will say, like my friend KJ is a beneficiary of the system. I will call people like those who are in the government of Mr. Bia, and those are the centralists. And because they are of this ideology, because they are the beneficiaries of the system. Now you have people like us who are federalists, who believe that power should begin from the base to the top, not from the top to the base. And now you have extremists who the both of us don't agree with. That's the separation. Those who are fighting for separation and so on and so forth. Now, those who are the federalists who incarnate the majority and the masses and the mind of the masses of Anglophone, we are saying that, or we who are representing them, we are saying that in the Fumban conference, the gentleman agreement was that once a francophone, the next Anglophone. But for more than 50 years today, the Anglophone population has been marginalized, and that is why we are saying that the compensation or the constitution or the political recompensation is that an Anglophone become president in this nation. You know, when an Anglophone is given the position of a prime minister or you say given the position of a vice president, it's like after you have eaten the meat and you aim the bone to the dog. That is what Mr. KJ wants to tell us, that the Anglophone population is a dog. Wait, Javis, let me laugh. That after eating the meat, you have to end the bone to the dog. The Anglophone population is, we are not dogs.
Listen now, hold on. Please don't use the word dogs to equate to certain people. They may consider it as his speech. That's my position. That's the whole lot.
Okay.
No, please.
Okay, Javis. So you take exception, but that is what I said.
But not the word dog to a certain group of people.
Yes. So what we are saying is that the Anglophone population, it is time for us to get up massively, because it is our time. The Anglophone population, we are the only legitimate population of Cameroon that have a legitimate and political cry of the next president being an Anglophone. When you talk about the Bamilikese, you talk about all those. Wait, let me calm down, Javis.
Don't use.
I am talking about people who are making acclamation. The Bamilikese are making acclamation that it is their time.
Please, not tribes.
So when
Anglophone is not a tribe.
Yes, when people say it is, Bamileke, it is our time of becoming president.
You can use region.
No, I'm not the one who said it, Javis.
No. We are within the country.
Okay, if the people of the West region, say it is a time of becoming president, they don't have any legitimate or political fight. It is not a political dispensation. The Anglophone is not a tribe. Anglophone is not. Anglophone is a political dispensation. We came to Cameroon as a union. We came to Cameroon through a referendum. So it is our time, and on that referendum there were agreements that were signed, but because of political whatsoever, the constitution has been rigged, and it is our time. That is why we Anglophone, we are saying that it is a time for an Anglophone president in this country.
Just to answer my question. My question was, Kedia mentioned the fact that you said it would be the position of vice president would mean nothing to the Anglophone. That's why he say. My question is, he said, where did you get the survey from to say that it means nothing to the Anglophone? Why can't you say some mean nothing to some Anglophones? Because Kedia is an Anglophone, and to him it means something to Anglophone, and you are an Anglophone. To you it means nothing. His argument is, if you say some, which you put yourself in that category, is okay. But if you say Anglophone community, means you are speaking on his behalf, and he's saying that he's not giving you the mandate.
Kedia is an Anglophone of a minority who are benefiting from a certain system. That is what you should understand. Kedia is an Anglophone. I am saying what I am saying. If you can, you debunk. Kedia is an Anglophone who is part of that minority that is benefiting from a system, and that is why he on his statement will always want to support that beneficiary, or support the system that he is benefiting from. But me, I am speaking as an Anglophone that is of the federalist orientation, that has not benefited from the system, who has been on the ground and knows the cry of the people, that the Anglophones are crying that they have been marginalized. And what you know, Javis, when you walk today around the towns of Douala, you want to understand that majority of the schools that are coming up now are Anglophone schools, and majority of Francophones wants to send their children to Anglophone schools. So if you are feeling, or if you feel that the Anglophone system or the Anglo-Saxon education system is much better, why not giving the Anglophone the opportunity of ruling this country, or and to see the changes that they are going to bring? Okay,
Kedia Robert Malafi, let me get to you. You wanted to say something about this issue.
Yes, my co-panelist here does not understand how political positions are being put in place. The Prime Minister is appointed by the President of the Republic, and the President of the Republic has powers at any time to remove the Prime Minister, be it after 2 hours or 2 years of appointment. But the position of the Vice President, they are being voted, and the President does not have the power to dismiss the Vice President. So the position of the Vice President is definitely powerful and stronger than that of the Prime Minister. So we cannot say that the position of the Vice President has nothing. That's one thing I want to say. Now, going to talk about political ideologies. Political ideologies has nothing to do with position of Vice President, President, and administration. A political ideology is a way something is being done. And when we talk about ideologies here, we talk about monarchical system, we talk about federalist, liberal, socialist. Those are political ideology. Form of state is what you are talking about, which we have the confederation, we have the centralized system that is divided into two, the decentralized and centralized system. We have the federal system, of course, which is also divided into two, the quasi-federation and the loose federation. Those are all form of state. They are different from political ideology, and it has nothing to do with regard to position of president or vice president. These positions are out to implement this ideology, so we should not get everything mixed up. I will not go into a combat with you to say that majority are the federalists or not. Instead, where we will put the fact in front of the Cameroonians to know which one is a majority is definitely asking them to register and vote. It is true. through a vote that we know which is a minority, not for us to come and sit and just claim that this is this or that is that. It is for them to vote, and when they will vote, we will know the outcome. We have people that have ideology for federalism, like I think Metra, Kerimuna, and the rest. They are there. That is what they stand for that system. And we have, of course, the head of state, President Pobia, that has his own stand. It is left for the Cameroonian people to go and vote and decide their destiny for the next 7 years. After saying all that, I still want again to go further for Cameroonians to understand that all countries are evolving. Mr. Tah Mai Javis, is there any country you will tell me that for the past 40 years they have not amended their constitution?
Amendment is ongoing.
It's ongoing in all countries. So if the constitution of 1961 of Fumban, which some people definitely think that it was not supposed to be changed, it is their right. So they should vote for somebody that has the same stand with them for it to be
now,
implemented.
I want to ask you this question, Mr. Keja Robert Malafe. If we are looking at this room of presidential or vice presidential position to be open, which is many are saying that this is fairly, according to some, a distraction at the point in time when we are looking at a very important election which is coming up, and that they see that this position, if at all a bill will be sent to parliament, is a ploy for CPDM to maintain its grip to power, because there is going to be an appointment of this vice president before the election. According to them, there's going to be that position is going to be created, an appointment is going to be done, and before people now run on ticket. Now, what then will be the difference between the prime minister, who has been the head of government, and the, I'm talking about the impact that it will create, because you have given a political education that the prime minister can be appointed and can be sacked, but if it goes on the vice presidential ticket, it cannot be sacked. But let's look at the activities, the impact, the job description. Will there be any impact, and what then could happen with the position of the prime minister?
Very correct. Now, the president of the republic has his own agenda for the nation, and when he is being elected, he appoints a prime minister to execute that his agenda, because the prime minister is the head of government, and so the prime minister will come with his government and ministers to execute what the Cameroonian people voted the president to do. But with the case of president and vice president, they campaign for an ideology mutually and are forced to work mutually. One cannot dismiss the other. If today there is an election of such, for instance in the CPDM, they may say that the president is President Paul Biya, and his vice in my party would be His Excellency Philemon Yang. When the two of them are elected in that banner, the two of them are there to implement the ideology that make the people to vote them. Their manifesto that they have sold out to the people will make the people to vote them, and the two of them, they will definitely have powers to implement it. One is more than the other, but one does not have the power to sack the other or to sideline the other. But with regard to the position of the prime minister, the president has the discretion to sack the prime minister and appoint who he wants. So that is where there is a difference. And so my co-panelist saying that there is no difference is maybe because he has not understood. There is no country on earth that the president is voted and he appoints a vice president. No. They go with the banner and they are voted by universal suffrage. But with the case of prime minister, the president in his discretion appoint a prime minister who he wants. And we should also know, which one of the things I will praise President Paul Biya, but people will always criticize, which is democracy, it is good. People should know that the position of prime minister was even removed by President Amadou Ahidjo, and francophones were even appointed prime minister. Even today, President Paul Biya was appointed prime minister. He was a francophone. It was later in the 90s that President Paul Biya said that no, he does not like this, the way Anglophones are being treated, and that the position deserved to be to an Anglophone, and in his own discretion decided to appoint late Simon Achiriachu From Simon Achiriachu, we went to Minister Peter Mafane Musonge and Oni
The question I
today.
was it supposed to be his discretion owing to the, is that not eradication of history like Brandon is saying, which you give an you give a point that it is an amendment, that amendment can be done at any time, but should that have been his discretion when at the level of Fumban conference that clause was not supposed to be changed on the Anglophone identity,
and that was one of the very agreement that brought us together.
That's okay. Let us look about the separation of powers. Let's also understand the fact that this is a people that came together and joined. So if it's coming here, it should come here. If it's coming here, it should go here. Now, saying that discretion, is that not one of the reasons why many Anglophones feel like they are being marginalized?
The feeling of marginalization is true. What you are saying is perfectly correct. But the blame does not go to President Paul Biya because he's not the one. It is President Amadou Ahidjo that removed it. And he is the one that have come back to consciousness to defend the Anglophone people. Why do I say he has taken that decision? It is his discretion. Because the Constitution does not say that anymore. The Constitution of 1961 that was removed by President Amadou Ahidjo when he created the unitary system in 1972. The one-party system was created in 1966.
Yes.
But the unitary system, the 20th of May is 1972 when President Amadou Ahidjo removed that. And the Constitution says that when he removed that, the president has the power to appoint whosoever he deems. That's what the law that was put in place at the era of Amadou Ahidjo says. That you are free to, the president is free to appoint someone from any region. And President Paul Biya, with regard to the Constitution, is free to appoint his prime minister from any region. But personally, with that Constitution being present that I can appoint from any region, he himself personally have decided to be appointing those from the northwest or southwest region.
If we go by what you're saying, it means that President Paul Biya has the right to pick a prime minister from the east, from the west, from the north, from each other, according to the Constitution.
But it is his will that he decided that he will be doing that only from the northwest and southwest region. But if he does that and appoint somebody from any other region, he has not violated the Constitution. And he is not to be blamed because that Constitution was not put in place by him, but by his predecessor, President Amadou Ahidjo. And so now, when we are talking about all this, talking about violation, there is something I always say, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, the position or the assembly or the institution that have been put in place in the northwest and southwest region where they now have a special status, we have not heard that assembly come out to say that this is what we don't like. We wanted a special status. They have given us that special status. Why should we blame President Paul Biya again? You have that assembly. Have that assembly taken anything or any document to Yaoundé to say that, Mr. President, per the special status, we want that we should be the one taking care of our educational system. We want that we should control our own judicial system. That assembly has not done that. And now people are blaming President Paul Biya instead of blaming that assembly. I want to be clear here. The president is from the CPDM. Members of those assembly are from the CPDM. And here I am not here to take chances because they are all my comrades. But I'm just saying that those of Northwest and Southwest should know where to place their problem. A special status has been given. If you people don't exploit it, why blame Yaoundé? You people have not even complained. If it could have been that, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, that this assembly has already voted a law or a decision to send it to Yaoundé and it was not accepted, and we are complaining, I will understand and I will blame the head of state that please look at what the people really want. But that assembly, that assembly has not done.
The president of the Southwest has the president of the South. I think the Southwest House of Chiefs actually lamented on the difficulties they are facing at the regional assembly in terms of the budgeting, that is seemingly is still a bit of constraint at the level of budgeting, and this is because some things have not been made clear at the level of Yaoundé.
Now, with this point you are saying is that we have an affiliation. When we talk about the regional assembly, is made up of two. We have the regional assembly itself and we have the House of Chiefs. Now what that chief is struggling to do is to get the autonomy from the House of Chiefs, from the Regional Assembly. That is internal, and he has the right to demand that. We are in democracy. But I am talking about the core values that Cameroonian crying for marginalization brought them out, named them, and a special status have been given. This regional assembly have not revandicated for that. I could have joined everyone to cry if they have decided and sent it to Yaoundé, and it was ignored by Yaoundé, then we will now cry foul against the Yaoundé government. But they have not. So what do we blame? We should blame them and not Yaoundé. Okay. I am saying this openly. Yaoundé government is CPDM, the various assembly they are CPDM, but I am talking about who should we hold account for this action. If we are holding a parliamentarian accountable for the law he has voted, if we are holding a mayor accountable for what is happening in his municipality, we should be able to hold the regional assembly accountable for what they have to do and not accuse Yaoundé all the time.
Brandon, I don't know. My question again back to you now will be based on this issue about the presidential term limit. There is also rumor that it is going to be limited to a 5-year term, and the vice president position is going to be created. But before, it's like you have something to say as far as reaction in what Keja.
Yes, when you listen to Keja talk, you see an Anglophone who is down deep rooted in a system of benefiting from the suffering of his people. That is what I see. I see an Anglophone who is rooted down deep in a system that benefits from the suffering of his people. Because you don't understand, how can you explain that the House of Chief is seeking permission from Yaoundé, the regional council is seeking permission from Yaoundé? So why were they created, first of all, if they don't have the autonomy of operation?
What I said is that they think that the people of the Northwest and Southwest region are crying against marginalization. They ought to channel it to the regional assembly, and that the regional assembly itself has not complained about some of the things that we are complaining, and that he would have added his voice if these people had actually channeled their complaint to the regional assembly, who had been given a special status, and if the people of the regional assembly I'm going to just give you a summary of what he said. If the people of the regional assembly would have had any challenge, they should have now gone to meet Yaoundé as a constitutional position, authority. That as long as these people have not done it, the people should not blame President Paul Biya. They should blame their regional assembly for being inactive. In other words,
how do you hold accountable a position that was created to compensate retired people? How do you hold them accountable? This regional, all these special status, independent conciliator, regional council, whatsoever, all these are positions that FECOM, all these are positions that are created. They are positions that are created to compensate retired people. They are positions that are created to compensate retired people. They are positions that cannot add value to the Anglophone people. They are positions that cannot add value because it is not my opinion. Because where did you get the statistics from? That is what Keja is saying. Because if had it been there was a work that is being done, there would have been questions. Because there are still questions. Wait, let me come. Because there are questions even right now in the Southwest and Northwest region that ought to be channeled to Yaoundé by the regional council, by the House of Chiefs, and by the. Why are they not doing it? That is the question. No, the problem is that this position was created not to work for the people, but to recompensate retired people. That is why this position was created. Because had it been it was a position that was created to work, there would have been questions that would have been asked. And secondly, why are you going to create a position to solve a problem of a people who feel marginalized, and you still center it to the person who he feels has been marginalizing him? The Anglophone population feel marginalized by the regime of Yaoundé. Now you take retired people, organize them, and put them in a room that they should work for people and give feedback back to the same Yaoundé regime that the population have been crying marginalization against. How does that make sense? It does not make sense. It does not have any sense in it. Because it is like maybe I am complaining of something, and you just take somebody to come and be in the middle, so my complaint can pass from that person to you. Because maybe I feel that you are not getting my complaint, then you bring somebody that, okay, now maybe I'm speaking in English, you don't understand English, you bring a translator to come and say that is it. And the translator that they brought in, they are translators who are very, very incompetent. A group of retired people who needs compensation, like the Senate.
How can you say group of? How can you say what barometer have you measured their incompetency to say that?
Because for since after the Ghana National Dialogue, what is the measurement, or what has the regional council or what has the House of Chiefs done to the Anglophone population to maybe show the population that this is their duty, this is what they are doing. Every day you hear about they are talking about the budget. They don't have financial means. They don't have this. They don't have that. That is not. What have they done? What is it? What is the impact? What is the moral impact? What is the education? Because one of the problems that I see in the Anglophone, or one of the problems that I have with Cameroon is the lack of education, lack of political education. But you must not talk all the time about money. An average Cameroonian does not even know the role of a parliamentarian. An average Cameroonian does not even know what a mayor is supposed and not supposed to do. An average Cameroonian does not even know the documents to compile for being a councillor or for being a mayor. So these are education that you need to, because you cannot serve a people who are blind. You need to give first of all the people the education, the required education before the people can hold you accountable. But if you have a population that does not know what to ask, when to ask, and who to ask from, then you have a blind population.
The question is who gives this political education? Is it Pobia that still need to give this political education with the existence of more than 400 political parties who should have the legal authority? These parties should have the legal authority to hold town hall and educate the people that this is a role of an MP, this is a role of a senator, this is a role of a mayor, this is a role of a councillor. No, if this is failing, go here. If this is succeeding, go here. Should we still blame President Pobia and CPDM for this lack of inadequate political education, as you are saying about it? What it means that, are you not indirectly saying that the opposition parties have failed in their role of political education, because all they see is Yaoundé?
Javis, that is why we are here. That is why people like us, we are here. But we are meeting stiff opposition like Keja on the way that are miseducating the people.
How?
Because if you come here and tell the people that Yaoundé has given you a regional council, Yaoundé has done this, Yaoundé has done that, you begin to tell the people about Yaoundé, you begin to tell the people about things that Yaoundé has been there for more than 40 years, there is nothing to show for. So what do you expect? Is it after Ghana National Dialogue in 2 years that the regional council, what do you expect the regional council that is taking orders from Yaoundé to do? What do you expect the House of Chiefs that is taking orders from Yaoundé to do? The governor imposes on the House of Chiefs. The governor imposes on the regional council. The governor receives order from Yaoundé. So what do you expect them to do? If the regional council decide that we want to construct, they will have to seek permission, maybe from Yaoundé, maybe from the governor. It is the same system. So when we are out here to give education to Cameroonians on what is at stake, or why they should do what and not to do what, we have people like Keja who are benefiting from the system and they are coming here. We have stiff opposition on the way. So what I am telling Cameroonians is that 2025 we have as obligation, we have as necessity. You know, the tension, the way I'm seeing Cameroon, it has never been this very tense for change in this country. And you that you are left behind, you don't want to vote. It is your business. The tensions are high, the tension is very high, and what we need to do is go and get your voter's card. Let me give you, I am talking with a clear example. I have my voter's card. I don't know where I kept it. Maybe it is in my bag. I have my voter's. I would have shown you my voter's card. You need to go and register and get your voter's card and vote for people who can bring the change. Yaoundé has been in the system for more than 40 years today. There is no change. When you see people like Keja come here to talk, they are people who are benefiting from the system.
Okay,
people who are benefiting from the system. So the Anglophone people should understand that this is a time where we need an Anglophone president in this country. You cannot be having Anglophone schools in Douala and in Yaoundé. Everywhere you have Anglophone schools, but they are refusing that Anglophone should not be a president in this country. Okay. It is unheard of. So this is a time that we need Anglophones to rise in their numbers, go and register and vote, and we have a president in this country.
Brandon. When you say they are refusing, who is refusing that? Anglophones have been tabling their candidacy for elections in 2000 and.
Javis, I don't know if you want to finish. You have the excerpt of Aben Zongang, the special advisor to Professor Maurice Kamto, who said the election was stolen by CPDM in 92. You have the excerpt. So when I say they are refusing an Anglophone, he said the story, he said the CPDM, he said the CPDM stole a lot, and he said he was an instigator. He was part of those who are instigating. He mentioned people like late Achidiachu. He mentioned a good number of them. So when I said I refusing, I am not. I have even mama.
Let me come. No, stop calling people name. Let me come.
You have even who said
these are people who are not here. Hold on, these are people who are not here to defend themselves. I really
Javis, I can give you the
yes.
You can put it on air.
Yes.
The audio, the video are there.
Yes. Can we just limit it to the except that he said, and not indexing people who are not here to defend themselves, because these are people who have a right to defend themselves, but they are not here to defend themselves. Let's leave them out of the conversation. You said my next question is to you. You said KDI is benefiting from the system. Now let me ask you the question. When you move from your house to the studio and back, you have not been kidnapped. Nothing has happened to you. Don't you also benefit from the peace and the stability of the system too?
I have not been kidnapped, but my brothers are there in the northwest and southwest. They are being kidnapped every day. Their houses have been burnt. They are being raped every day in the northwest and southwest. The businesses are not going on.
My question is you.
Children are not going to school.
Are you not benefiting from this?
I am not benefiting because my brothers and sisters are not benefiting in their homes. I am not benefiting because I am in Douala as a refugee. I'm not benefiting because I am not in Southwest where it is my comfort zone, where I have everything at my disposal. I'm not benefiting because I am here as an IDP, because I flew from Southwest because of the fear of the unknown, and it is because of the failed regime of Yaoundé that we have what we are having in the Northwest and Southwest region. So I am not benefiting. Don't call because so I should not work freely in Douala because of what?
That's a question.
No, when you talk about working freely of dollar, that is
no,
not the benefit. That is not the benefit.
Okay, you are talking about what benefit are you talking about that KJ is benefiting? And
I am talking about the benefit of having peace in the northwest and southwest region.
Okay.
I am talking about benefit of our children going to school. I am talking about benefit of understanding the cry of the people. I am talking about the benefit of having good roads in the northwest and southwest region.
Okay. Thank you very much. This one says, good afternoon, House of Commons. For 43 years, President Paul Biya is there. Nothing to show for it. This says, hello, good afternoon to you all in the studio. And I am Joel from Boya. Mr. Javis, please allow other panelists to talk the same way Mr. Liu is responsible for, the same way Mr. Liu does. He is responsible for his words. For his words, you support KJ anytime he wants to talk. Just go and wear your CBDM dress. You guys are the reason this country is okay. Correct them. Everything is recorded in your correction. Let me explain you something that you don't understand, Mr. Joel. Panelists are responsible for their words, and at the same time they share responsibility with the media house, because there are some words that we should not use on national TV based on the ethics of the profession. You can just be looking at it from the position of a layman and you think that I am interjecting. But the thing is, it is my job to guide them not to at least enter into trouble. They are responsible, but they may also get into trouble with one or two words. So why should I allow somebody to get into trouble for his words when I could also actually guide that person and moderate? That's why there's a reason for moderation. And sometimes some of you just feel like we support. Anyway, my meter prime is open to you. My number is on your screen. If you want to be a panelist, please, next Sunday I'll organize the debate. Come and say whatever you want to say and defend it and take responsibility for that your word. KJ, I wanted to react.
Yes, before I say what I wanted to say, my dear co-panelists, for you referring to some people as dogs is wrong. For you bringing in the issue of a particular tribe calling their name when we are battling to fight against tribalism in this country could be misinterpreted. So I don't know why our viewers is looking at it in that perspective. However, my co-panelists have said all he has said, and I just want to tell you that you being here expressing yourself, having that freedom of expression, it stands to the system in Yaoundé, because there are other countries that they cannot do this. I remember one time watching a TV station in DR Congo, and security men came in and bundled out panelists because of what they were saying on live TV. So we are here, it stands to the freedom of speech and expression that we have in Cameroon. However, us of the CPDM political party, we accept critics, we accept people that want to challenge us, but everything should be done within the concept of democracy. We have institutions, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, and these institutions have their responsibility. We should know what we should accuse the council, the mayors. We should know what we should accuse the regional assembly. We should know what we should ask from our parliamentarian, and we should know what we should ask from our senators. And you talking about civic education, oh come on. In the educational system of Cameroon, we have citizenship that is being taught from Form 1 to Form 5, especially when it has to do with the Form 4 work of citizenship. Form 4 work, first topic is talking about administration, the duty of the Prime Minister, the duty of the governor, the duty of the DO, the SDO. That is the first topic of Form 4 citizenship. And the third topic of Form 4 citizenship after social ill will have to do with prostitution, STDs, drug abuse. We also have the electoral system and how the constitution is elaborated and taught to our children. This is Form 4 work, where we teach them the symbol, the motto, the seal of the republic, where we teach them the duty of a parliamentarian, the duty of a senator, the number of parliamentarians, the number of senators. It is there. And Mr. Tah Mai Javis, when you even go to the university like University of Boya, civic and ethics is a compulsory course that is being taught in our universities. So you realize that the government has put in place an educational system that will educate our youth, that will educate Cameroonian people, so that they will be able to take their destiny into their hands. How then will we come then and blame the government that people don't know? If they don't know, who do we blame? You blame those that don't want to know. You blame those that don't want to seek information. Us come here to say the government does not do this, do this, do this. We should be able also, when accusing the government of not doing this, we should also know our civic responsibility. We should also know our civic duties. We have a population of over about 30 million, and we are expecting about 15 million people to register, but we still have about 9 million that have registered, and the rest have not registered. Who do we blame? You want to blame the government? We should be able to tell citizens their own responsibility. When somebody fails, you tell the person, you have failed there, you have failed here, because collectively we will build a nation. As far as you are criticizing the government, we are in democracy. It is your right when you criticize it within the framework of the constitution. You are 100% correct. But when doing that to the government, you should also tell citizens, criticize them for not also doing their own responsibility. That is what it means by being a public speaker, where you are just, where you are balanced. You should be able to tell mayors their own responsibilities. You should tell everybody his or her own responsibilities. When all of us will know our responsibility, we will not have a need to complain. So that is what I think the education we should be given. The education, political education has been given. Do you know that Cameroon is one of the highest countries in Africa? When people go, they sit in media, they say what they like. Tell me one panelist that has been sentenced to prison because of what he said on TV. Tell me one. No. They come, they sit on TV, and when they go back, they do what they do in the quarters, and they are being accused of that. So I will still say, Mr. Tah Mai Javis, you have been a journalist for many years today. Tell me anyone that have been arrested because of what he said on this your platform and my media prime. There's freedom of expression.
Okay, Kija, we are almost getting out of time, and my question now to you is, what should be done to encourage the people? What should be done to have a peaceful environment for the people of the Northwest and Southwest region to register for this election massively?
Elecam is doing its best to open a door for the people to register. Is it true that the present dying conflict will have an impact on the election? Yes, you have an impact on the election. What is the way forward? The way forward is about us standing up to tell our children that have picked up arms, minute of them that are in the bushes carrying terrorism, act of rape and the rest. We should be able to tell them that the marginalization of Anglophone, which many prophesy or proclaim, can be battled out. We can fight it through democratic processes. We can fight it using our institutions. We can fight it by doing what we have to do without violence. The problem is violence. We are in democracy. If we are marginalized, it is our right to stand up and say, you are on the government, we are not okay with this. It is for us to stand up and vote. For the crisis, for the conflict to end, in the Northwest and Southwest region is simple. It's us to tell our children, drop our arms. Then we continue with the battle in a diplomatic way. We continue with the battle of marginalization in a democratic way, where we will vote people that will stand for us, where we will have a regional assembly that will carry the cry of the people. I have not seen any bill that have been voted at the regional assembly in Northwest and Southwest about the educational system which the people revendicated of. I have not seen any bill that have been voted by this very assembly concerning the judicial system which the people revendicated for. If they voted a bill and it was rejected by the government, I will join them to say this is the wish of my people.
So you are indirectly saying that members of the regional assembly they are not taking the people's
stand. They are the one to do it.
Yes.
They are the one to do it. That's special status. Let them do it. Many people will say that no, they have done this, they have done that, they have not given them the full power. Let them do what the people want. And let the government say no. Then at that time now, many of us will stand to say that we are being marginalized. When it has not been done, we don't have any legal or legitimacy to complain because we have the institution.
Brandon, what should be done to have free? Because as of now, it shows that the Social Democratic Front, other political opposition parties are the greatest losers in the Northwest and Southwest region when it comes to election. Looking at the armed conflict in itself, because they don't have the mechanism to actually move down to the field. So what should be done to encourage or to have a hitch-free registration and possibly voting this 2025, which is critical? Because if an Anglophone president even present now, SDF is an Anglophone president candidate that is presenting. We have Dr. Asson, we have a good number of barristers. Keremuna, if they even present, they may not have the opportunity to have their people vote for them because of the current dispensation.
Yes, what I am telling Anglophone population is that the time is now or never. It is either we survive or we perish. You have to go and register. Maybe there is a political or there is a dispensation that you can change your polling station. Presently, me, I am registered. I was supposed to vote in Bamuso, but I have revisited my polling station. Now I am going to vote in Douala 5, Douala 4, Bonamusadi, because it is more safer for me to vote in that area. So you have to first of all register before you know if you are going to vote or not. You have to, if you have your voter's card, you can just go to an election office and say this is your polling station. You want to change it to this for so and so and so. It is as simple as that. They are going to change your polling station. So Anglophones, this is our time. This is a time for us to stand up for our right. Whether you are an Okada rider, whether you are a buy and sell, you are a truck pusher, you are whatsoever, in as much as you are a Cameroonian and you attain the age of voting, go and register as an Anglophone. That should be your consciousness. And Anglophone with the voters card, it should be a consciousness that Anglophones have been marginalized for more than 40 years today. For since we came into this union as two different entities to form the Republic of Cameroon or the United Republic of Cameroon, we are marginalized. So the consciousness is that our parents fought this fight and they have left the battle for us. The consciousness in our generation, we are going to continue, and we are going to continue through the ballot box. We should not lose faith in the ballot box. It can still save us. Take your voters card. If we do it in our numbers, we do it in our numbers. You know, notwithstanding the security tensions that are in the Northwest and Southwest region, we can still smuggle out our way. In Kumba, there is going to be an average turn-up. If you are in Bonge, you are in Nekombe Longo, you are in Kondo Titi, you can still take a one-way, go to Kumba, you go and vote. There is always something that you can do to vote. In a Kondo Titi, there is going to be maximum security. At least I can count on the government of Mr. Bia to give us security. In a Kondo Titi, there is going to be, in Bonge, there is going to be vote. In Kunda, there are places that voting is going to take place.
So they too are going to benefit now from the peace that case has benefited.
When somebody is leaving Bonge, to go and vote in Kumba, that is not peace. That when we are talking about peace, we are talking about having. Okay, I want to also make this clear. Why one of the reasons that we are not benefiting from the peace is that the Southwest region in particular, and amongst the Anglophone region, we are having Sonara, we have Goba, we have timber, we have cocoa, we have a little bit of coffee. I can say we are the agricultural backbone of this country, but we don't have road. We don't have a seaport. We don't have an airport. So how do we export our crops?
I don't know why you should
Yes, that is why. How do we export? That is the piece that we are not benefiting. How do we export our crop? How do we export our cocoa?
Let me ask. These same areas are talking about. The Prime Minister is from this area, head of government.
CPDM.
Hold on.
Yes.
It's somebody from the Southwest region. We've had Prime Ministers from the Southwest region.
Yes.
And Northwest region.
Yeah, they are CPDM.
Same thing that the people of Northwest region are facing. That same area has ministers who have been appointed, who are supposed to do their job. That same area have parliamentarians who receive these ministers in the parliament for budgeting and for overview. That same area has councillors, municipal council, and also city council. What have all these people been able to do? What is their balance sheet that we are blaming Mr. Bia and we are saying that there is no road? Are you saying that it's Mr. Bia that have asked these people not to work? But when it comes to investment, we have had people too from that area who have been arrested for investing billions in the region, both northern and southern region. We have people who have been arrested for investing billions. Were their hands not tight when it comes to investment?
No, Javis, you have to understand that there is a saying that the fish start rotting from the head. You know, if you have all these people that you are naming, the Prime Minister from the Southwest, from the Northwest, all these people are people in a particular system, and the system has concocted these people to work in a particular way.
So when they embezzle the money, there's a system that
when they embezzle the money, that is the role, that is the line of the system. We know the system for embezzlement.
So all those who are in the
what Cameroonians should understand is that this system is known for embezzlement. It is known for that direction. It is known for that line. So they should give confidence, or they should give the mandate to another system. They should give the mandate to a federalist system like the SDF, who has as an ideology to start from the base. That is, you give the power to the common man. The common man should give the power to the hierarchy. Not that the hierarchy takes all the power and distribute. Now it is a kind of I don't even know how I class it. The SDF has as a program to give the power from the base to the local council, to the councillors, the regional council, and all that. You cannot imagine that you want to construct a 1 meter stretch of road, you need approval from Yaoundé.
Thank you.
So it is not that whatsoever you want to do, you need approval from Yaoundé. So the SDF is giving the power to the people. Let the people give their mandate or their trust to the SDF to give them the power to take on their development by themselves.
Please, when we say give power to the people, we are talking in the context of system of governance. I want Cameroonians to know that when we talk about federalism, power is given at the level of the regions. I want to talk about the decentralized system where we practice what we practice now. Power is being given to the mayor. So we should know how this system functions. Many people will just say federalism, confederation, decentralization. They don't even know how this system do function. If actually you knew how this system functions, you will realize that power in decentralization is more to the mayor that know their immediate environment, as compared to federalism in which power is given to regional governors that are being voted. So when you know how this system functions, you understand. The problem is we don't put people to be responsible. We keep on accusing one person rather than accusing those that are there. We have major roads. We have main roads.
Power is given to the mayor. What is the role of FECOM? If power is given to the mayor, why was FECOM created? FECOM was created to intermediate between the mayor and the government. It means you want to tie a road, you take your budget, you take your project to FECOM approve it, send it to Yaoundé approve it, send it to FECOM approve the budget before the mayor can have 5,000 or 10,000 to tie a road. So when you say power is given to the mayor, for what? First, we didn't
sign the contract for the road.
You listen.
I'm just asking simple questions so that Cameroonians can learn. Who signed the road for contract?
My son.
If they are to create boreholes, who signed the contract? Is it the mayor or is FECOM?
Who approves the budget? The issue is not who approves the budget and what is the process of approving the budget or signing the process. Because first of all, we do not have FECOM, but because of this water is specialty or what, the board FECOM that stands as an, it means the process becomes no longer than what we had before.
Afternoon in the house, this 43 year which past celebrated to me, I called it 43 years of that dash, because I was born till now. I have not seen any change in the country, rather it keeps going backward. Please, we need a change. Parley dash. This is Rita writing from Yaoundé. This other one is good afternoon to the panel. Who was the Prime Minister in Fumban in 1961? This is Jonathan writing from Yaoundé. This other one says good afternoon to you guys. Okay. Thank you very much, Kedia Robert Malanfe, for coming.
The time is finished. It's a pleasure to be here. To conclude, I want to tell Cameroonians that when we talk about Anglophone marginalization, is it based on policies or is based on development? If it is based on policies, yes, there are many policies like the English language, which has to have its normal status. But if it is being done with development, I just want to seize this opportunity to tell Cameroonians that among the 10 regions in Cameroon, the Northwest and Southwest is among the first 5 most developed regions. So we should know that in that perspective. Are you aware that there is no road going to a division here in Littoral Yabasi?
Punjab.
Yes, there's no water there, there's no electricity there, they're having problems. Sanaga Maritime benefit from the road that leads from Douala to Yaoundé, but look at the Northwest. Oh, the people of Ndonga Matu now have their ring roads and the rest of the roads that are being constructed. I am not saying that the people of Northwest don't have the right to revindicate. It is even politically good when you revindicate. Even when they give you, you say more is better, so that you keep on asking for more. It is a political strategy. Where I disagree, or where many of us disagree, is the aspect of violence. That's my point. Mr. Tah Mai Javis, it's a pleasure to be here again. Special greeting to the people of Bamising.
Okay, thank you very much for coming longer.
Thank you, Javis. Thank you for having me. Thank you to my co-panelist, Mr. Kija. It was a pleasantly, it was a good time sharing a panel with him. I hope our debates and our argument is going to help in one way or the other for him to pass an information to a system that the people are crying. The people are crying. We are not only saying it to send pleasantries. It is a cry that is deep in our minds, and we hope he who is a brother, who is privileged to be in a system can pass our cry to those who have the knife and the yam. And I also want to tell Anglophone population that we are crying and we are using all mechanisms to take out the system that is in place, but as we stand against violence, we don't support violence, but we hope that we are going to use the ballot box and our voters card to kick out Mr. Biya from presidency or from the system, and we hope to have a federalist and Anglophone as president come October 2025. Thank you.
So that you two will benefit from the system.
No, it is not a matter of personal.
Okay, thank you. It is on that note that we finally have come to an end on today's edition of our program. The rebroadcast will be done today at 10:30. It will be on our YouTube channel today, the same evening as after the program. You have it on our YouTube channel. We have 2 YouTube channels. We have BT Media Group and My Media Prime. Search any of them, you can have it there. And also on our TikTok page, you can follow us on My Media Prime TV. And also the program comes every Sunday at exactly 10:30 p.m. I want to once more wish a special condolence to the family of Desmond Akiba, my producer, who passed on 2 weeks ago at the Douala General Hospital next year in Bonamusadi. This is a difficult time for the program, difficult time for the house. I want to thank the producer of today, who happens to be Full Elvis Chair, for being able to produce today's edition. I know it's not been easy being the first time of producing today's program. I want to thank the team, Alan, and of course Legend, who have been there to ensure the history production. Until we meet again, no matter the matter, what matters is your matter. And of course, what should matter for you is that you should go register for election, because in under 30 days it will definitely have the voting, the electorate to be called, and so aspiring candidates are now trying to do their job and see how they can get their documents ready. Until we meet again, stay out of trouble. Bye bye.